Hey, this is Dlow, and this is my
GBB 2026 Wildcard season was probably one of the most hyped one in the entire story of beatbox battles. We are talking about Football G, Cardiff, Marvelous, King Inertia, all of the best beatboxers in the scene right now, competing their way to get a spot in the top 9. But among all of the top contenders, everyone's attention was shifted to one person only, Dlow. The legend is back, GOAT has returned. It seems like everyone agrees on the fact that Dlow is and will always be the best beatboxer in the world. But what makes it interesting is that the reason for his success was not just passion or luck, but it was actually a genius strategy. A strategy to build his own legacy in the beatbox history. Unlike others, Daniel didn't discover beatbox by watching YouTube or other social media. It was, in fact, from one of his friends. It was 2007 when Dan was only 11 and was hanging out at his friend's place when he saw a kid there who was trying to beatbox. In short, he messed around with his mouth in an attempt to beatbox too. At the moment he got his first sound, Dan was so happy that since then, it grew into a passion and gave him a new goal in life: to become the best beatboxer and spread his music to the world. But he only started taking beatbox seriously in 2012 after a few years of self-teaching himself. He even tried out YouTube and uploaded some of the first online footage of him beatboxing at that time. And 2 years later, right at the age of only 17, Dlow entered his first major beatbox competitions, which was the 2014 UK Beatbox Championship in the under-18s category. Despite still being green and new to the scene, he battled his way to the final when he met Breakcore in the last battle. Staying calm and executing his routine perfectly. Dlow literally won first place in his first ever live competitions, becoming the champion of the first under-18s category ever in the UK Championship. And things only got from there. He started to get more active in 2015, participating and getting high ranks in comps like Cardiff Beatbox Battle, Beatbox Battle World Championship, and Figure World. And just 1 year later, he claimed the first spot in the UK Championship, officially becoming the solo champion of the UK. And not only in solo, he also got his reputation in the loop station, with him being the UK Vice Champion in 2017, and in tag team with his team, Kocha first debuted and won first place in the same year. Both are in UK Championship. A little bit of fun fact: Dlow actually met his team partner, Frosty, when they were playing online game on Xbox. And ever since then, they have become best friends and engaged in multiple beatbox battles as a team together. But we will get to that later, because for now, it's time for one of the most important events in Dlow's career that, little did he know, would change his life forever. His first GBB. Similar to any beatboxer in the world, Grand Beatbox Battle to Dlow was something big, like an achievement that he needed to conquer to fulfill his dream of becoming the best beatboxer since a little kid. And GBB 2018 was his shot to do so. Getting the impressive 4th spot with his first ever wildcard for GBB, he advanced to the elimination round with a strong vibe and full of confidence. And in response to the high expectation from the audience, he delivered.
Yo everybody, I'm Dlow, and I hope you enjoy my tracks.
Clean sound, smooth flow, and a great crowd control. It was a flawless performance. In fact, it was so good that, just from that round only, the rest of the comp turned from a competition into his own show. Every time he got on the stage, people would chant and shout his name out loud, and everything you could hear when he's about to perform was just... It was almost like the top spot was deemed for him at this point. But there was also another participant who had the same effect as him. Cardiff.
He's an old maid firebender. Got fingers in the
Cardiff was not just another beatboxer. He was the beatboxer. the one who was said to change the whole beatbox battle scene back then with his unique approach of musicality and clarity, which, of course, was never seen before at that time. We could talk about that later in another video, but yeah, even when Dlow has won all of his battle with the perfect score of 5-0, the final against Cardiff was not be an easy one.
Sing it like a symphony.
I never sleep, cause sleep is the cousin. I want my money back.
Everything they had, they saw it all. The technique, the flow, the music, both of them were phenomenal in their own way, and they both deserve to be respected for their performance on that day. But of course, there can only be one champion. 2 votes for Dlow, lost again 3 votes for Cardiff. For some people, it was a close score, but for Dance himself, a loss is a loss. And the sad thing is, it was not because that Dlow lacked skill or anything. It was just that Cardiff back then was so revolutionary that even with everything he had, Dlow couldn't be able to win the first spot and achieve his dream. But give up was never in his plan. If you still don't know, in GBB, if you are within the top 4 in last year's edition, then you will be automatically qualified for the next year, which means that both Dlow and Cardiff, the vice champion and the champion, are qualified for GBB 2019. And with his dream still incomplete, Daniel didn't hesitate to come back to the GBB stage once again to prove himself. This time with a much greater advantage of having a whole year to prepare without having to get through the wildcard stage. So he logged in. Stopping participating in any other events, Dlow chilled restlessly in that 1 year, working on his routine, timing and everything else, all to prepare for the most important event of his life. Still Dlow with his signature opening.
Hello everybody, my name is Dlow and I hope that you enjoy my music.
That energetic style and unique sounds. But this time, he's much more prepared, aiming for that top spot of the biggest beatbox battle event at the time. And just like last time, he successfully got through the elimination round with little effort, winning 5-0 in every battle even when his opponents were Collapse and VR, 2 beatboxers who were seen as the top contender for that year, with one even won the next GBB editions. But just like last time, in the very last battle of the competitions, he met Thomas Zachary, who was just a new face in GBB but had already become a star of the com, even defeating Cardiff himself in the semi-final.
It's a battle, so look at me.
Like defeating last year's champion? That was something even Dlow failed to do, and was not looking good for him. In fact, even though his last 2 battles were phenomenal, it also means that Dance had already used all his bad routine and technique, which not only limited his joy, but also eliminated the surprising elements. But giving up right now isn't an option, and Dance would put everything he got in this final battle to make sure that this time it wouldn't be like last time.
They said I used to botch it to the dance.
Save yourself from voodoo.
Could you wanna party with me?
But history repeated itself. The rising newcomer had been defeated by a score of 2-3, and Dlow has officially become the champion of GBB 2019. After all the struggle, all the up and down, all the moments when he thought he had already lost. Dance had finally become the best beatboxer in the world, claiming not just the first spot but also the heart of the people who were following him through his journey. And from there, the rest is just history. His YouTube videos started to get millions and millions of views. He was invited to multiple events for showcasing, which, of course, also got insane amount of attention. He was, at that time, an actual celebrity in the beatbox community. But to push things even further, 2 years later, after everything was paused due to the quarantine in 2020, Dlow would make a new wildcard for Kickback Battle 2021, a brand new competition organized by Sweet Beatbox. While everyone thought that the online format would be a disadvantage to him as dance trend was always his vibe on the live stage, he would completely dominate the comp. Winning every match effortlessly and getting first place, which, in fact, officially made him went undefeated since GBB 2018 with a total of 22 battle won. With that, his reputation skyrocketed again. Everyone was just talking about Dlow, his beatbox and his insane performance in every match, looking forward to his appearance in GBB 2021. But right when things are this big, he just completely vanished from the battle scene. He was still active, making new content in music, going to events and even being judged in multiple events, including GBB 2021. But for the next few years, he didn't engage in any competitions as a battler. Yes, he did participate in European Beatbox Championship 2022, winning rank 1 in both wildcard and sitting round, but then he just dropped out of the competitions in stage 3, and from then, completely stepped back from any battle event. Many fans were so confused, asking him why he stopped. Why wouldn't he battle anymore? Many theories were proposed by people like he's tired of battling, or he wanted to focus on his personal life. But it was actually a genius strategy by Dlow. You see, for most beatboxers, after winning their first GBB or any other big comps, they would come back next year because of the auto qualification or join tons of other beatbox events to continue battling. And 90% of the time, they cannot win every match. But in Dlow's mind, to build his reputation as an undefeated champion, he wouldn't want to watch battling every year, but instead went slow yet steady, making sure that he would win every battle he engaged in, which is why he went absolutely undefeated since 2018. Also, him stepping back from battling is also a move to make sure that the new gen like Abo Eyes, Oasis or Marvelous would get more spotlight, making sure the scene wouldn't be boring with the same guy participating every year, while he would get more time to prepare for the next time, which is 7 years later from GBB 21, GBB 2026. Just like tradition, every year when GBB wildcard season is about to happen, people will start posting about if Dlow will make a wildcard or not, and this year is no exception. Some people even guess his return just because he wouldn't be a judge for this year, but most people didn't really get their hopes up. Yet, somehow, it actually happened. On March 2nd, 2026, a video that no one expected was published on Dlow's main channel. Dlow, GBB 26 World League Solo Wildcard, Poison Darker. The internet just exploded. Everyone was so shocked. Reddit, Discord and even YouTube reaction video. Everyone was just talking about Dan's wildcard and how crazy it is. But that is not all. Just 13 days later, he would post another video, which is the wildcard for the tag team category with Frosty, marking the return of Cardiff since their last appearance in GBB 2019. It seemed like after 7 years of training and improving, Dlow is finally ready to take back his crown in both categories, and his fans seem to be confident about his capability of doing so. But this year GBB is no joke. Aside from Dan's return, we also got Football G, River, Ken Nersha for solo and Unity team, the legendary team of Alessino and Alem for tag team. With a level this high, many people were worried that their GOAT, while definitely getting high rank, wouldn't be able to compete for the first spot in the most stacked GBB ever. However, the wildcard results proved differently. Rank 1 in solo and rank 2 in tag team. Those achievements alone were already so impressive by themselves, but then you realize that Dlow isn't even showing everything he has in his wildcard. You see, while everyone has to show everything they have in order to get a spot in the top 9, just to be able to get qualified for the actual battle, Dlow is a different beast. He has improved so much in the past few years that, in fact, it takes almost no effort for him to get in GBB. So, instead of showing all the new things he has learned, including his jump cards, he would use all the sounds and techniques that are familiar to the audience, like his inward bass and touch bass, but with a much higher level and precision. And with just very little showcasing of his new snare, probably just one of the many new things he has learned in the past 7 years, it is almost impossible to prepare when facing Dlow, given his versatility and uniqueness no one can copy, which is the most important reason why live battle is Dan's biggest strength. Okay, some people watching to this point might think that I'm just glazing Dlow, but to be honest, the result doesn't lie. Like, just think about it. Living the battle scene for 5 years, then making a wildcard that only shows like 80% of what he's capable of, and win rank 1? There's no denial that Dlow is still one of the best beatboxers in the scene right now, but that doesn't mean that the champion title is gonna be a walk in the park. This year, we see the return of not only Dlow but also River, Futuristic, and even Unity team, creating probably one of the most stacked GBB ever. So, while this is gonna be a big challenge for Dance in both solo and tag team, it is also a great opportunity for him to prove that he is, indeed, the GOAT of beatbox, like how people always say. But yeah, there's so many things we can expect from Dlow in GBB 26, and honestly, the potential is endless. There's no doubt that if Dance wins the solo category this year, he will be seen as the undisputed champion of GBB as well as the greatest of all time in the beatbox history. Thanks you guys for watching to the end of the video. This video is the first one in the Beatbox documentary series that will change this whole channel direction, so if you are like me, wanna watch something else about beatbox rather than just battle and music, please support me by drop a like and a subscribe. Ish.